Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
Avast me, hearties, and welcome once again to Full Stream Ahead. I'm your host, Mozz and with me as always is the lovely and talented Lilith Hellfire, the internet granny herself. How are you, Lilith?
Pretty good. Happy to be first mate.
Oh, right on. Happy to have you.
Sailing the high streaming seas. We're taking a detour.
Choppy waters out there.
For sure.
And at first I wasn't so sure about this series either. Episode 1, which is what we're going to talk about today. Episode 1 of Loki Season 2, Ouroboros. And Ouroboros is that donut-shaped spiraling thing that ever
the snake eating its own tail.
Isn't the Ouroboros also that the
It's based on that concept, but the actual imagery for the word is the snake eating its own tail.
Is there a different word for that? The structure, like the donut, they say like almost like an infinity, it just goes in on itself constantly. A torus, I think it's called, maybe a torus or something like that. But anyways, it's a same idea, sort of ending where it started looping back to the beginning kind of thing. But season two, the episode 2 really kicks it off, and it kind of won me over. But let's talk about this episode. Do you remember how the last episode ended?
Okay, so we're going to do a little full disclosure here. Mama's not a Marvel fan, especially not an MCU fan. I've never seen the Thor movies. I kind of sort of binged a little bit of season 1. So it's kind of not like it's there, but like I didn't rewatch. I just sped through it to get caught up.
Gotcha.
I am not a fan of Norse mythology either. So this is fun. I remember end of season 1. I do. That is still fresh in my memory.
Right.
So we kind of pushed him through the time door portal thingy, and we see that statue, but it's not the same statue.
Right.
Is our first clue, I guess, is from what I'm gathering.
Yeah, because there were no statues of Kang. They didn't know he existed. They were just the time variance authority, the time variance authority. But turns out he was behind it all. So he disappears right at the very end of the last season. And so here he comes back, and he's caught in some sort of weird repeating loop where he keeps getting sent to different times. Now, he's in
a time slip, I believe is what they call it, right?
Right.
Which is interesting. It's like,
do you think it like where he's jumping to is by design, or it's just randomly taking him to different blips?
It's hard to say in the Marvel universe if anything is truly random, if everything is preordained, right? But I'm gonna just say that it's random, but like I find it interesting the use of this, right? Because I guess like the TVA is in like the heart of a black hole, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Like, that's very interesting because it has to do with that whole theory of, at the end of time and black holes, how it'll consume everything, and, how, if you could live through that, how that universe would look. And that's why all the timelines have like that spaghettification, and that's why they keep like talking about it. So I kind of like the science angle of it. And that's one thing I've always appreciated Marvel Comics for. Like, I think it was one of the first places to use like the term dark matter outside of like science and stuff like that. So
they ruined the word quantum, but the rest I'll give them. Yeah.
Touche, good sir. Touche.
Quantum is just stand-in for magic. Yeah, no. It's just
that's
quantum.
always been the cool thing about Marvel. So I kind of like that take on it. And so with the time slips, they have like all these different theories of like time travel within Marvel itself. So they have like what a lot of people call like, linear and vertical, time travel. So time slips would kind of be like vertical, where you're like literally moving back and forth within your own timeline. Whereas like, linear is like more like what they do in like Into the Spider-Verse, right? So like you're glitching from multiverse to multiverse, but within the specific time, like for vertical time slipping is like considered vertical time travel. So Loki's slipping up and down his own timeline, and that's how come he's affecting it. And I think that's the only way that, because like the TVA is supposed to exist outside of everything, including the sacred timeline, right? But he's actually affecting it. We see it like with the mail truck chase and how it crashes, and you see the crack, right? Yeah. And so Loki's like, I can actually affect things. This is bad. This is all bad.
It's funny because like if it's supposed to be outside of time, then there can't be another variant of the time variance authority.
Exactly.
Right.
So what's really going on? Well, we know that they've been lied to, right? Because they're all variants and they've had their memories erased. So maybe what they hold to be true is not true at all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think this is the first time that Loki like kind of realizes, because he in the first season he tells them they're variants and they don't want to believe it, and I feel like this is going to be the crux of this season as well, where everybody's like coming together like, wait a minute, yeah. And then they're also sorry to be jumping around, but like I found it interesting that they're just now realizing that when they prune the timeline, they're killing people. Like, babes, how can this be new news to you? I mean, that kind of smacks of like fascism and just, I was following orders kind of thing. And I'm like, that's a slippery slope.
Right. They thought they were doing it for the greater good.
That's a slippery slope.
Yeah. The greater good is pretty dangerous sometimes. I think that like time itself is scrambling to fix repair.
It, yeah. But like, weren't we dealing with like that same issue in the first season with like all the like it's like in danger because of all the branch timelines, right? So is this just a cyclical thing that happens like every so often within the TVA, and it's just something that has to happen, a big bang of sorts for them of how they're like confined within that black hole? Maybe they're just kind of stuck in that big cycle, and maybe that's why it's titled Ouroboros. Besides the cool dude that we meet, Obi, like, chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Him and Casey are like my faves for the episode, right?
Casey, absolutely. Yes. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know why I identify with that guy so much. He's just trying his best.
He's me. I read the manual. Literally. I am all about malicious compliance, especially in a corporate setting. So I will read the handbook backwards and forwards. I literally wrote one time too for interns. So yeah, like I'm like, yes, Casey, you were me. I am you. I am here for you, buddy.
Yeah. That was my favorite part of this episode. I was like, leave that poor man alone. Let him take a nap, for crying out loud. But it feels like, so before in the last season, it was the Time Variance Authority that was fighting to protect this timeline that obviously we find out now is managed or even founded by Kang. Like this
manipulated.
Right. This artificial structure, like this, thing outside of these timelines, constraining them, weaving them, like they call it a loom.
Like a loom, yeah.
Right.
That's great. That was great metaphor.
I really, really like that. I'm surprised people haven't used that before. It kind of made me think of that movie Wanted with Angelina Jolie.
Oh,
where they bend the bullets.
Yeah.
And they had something like that too, like a weird Gandhi loom machine that was printing out strings with.
Well, that probably goes back to like Destiny, right? Like the three sisters who weave it and cut your, cut your thread of life and everything, maybe too, which is why I enjoyed that metaphor.
Yeah.
Which is because that's essentially what they were doing when they were purging those timelines, right? They were snipping those threads.
Yep. Absolutely.
So yeah, it all kind of works together and it's really fun. The one thing I kind of don't enjoy about Marvel, like MCU, like specifically the TV shows, and I get that you have to do this, but I feel like they try to cram in so many Easter eggs and they try to cram in so many jokes per minute to hold people's attention because people's attention spans are so kind of quote unquote low nowadays. And it kind of sometimes a lot of shows, it kind of affects, like, it's not character driven. It's just like joke driven. Like that's what drives the plot. And like in the first couple of minutes, that's kind of the vibes I was getting. So I kind of got the vibes of Fifth Element, and then I saw some, Office Space, especially with Obi in the basement. He's just giving his best, Steven Root in that movie, you know?
Right.
And then a lot, of course, obviously the reference of Back to the Future. So it's just like natural, but it's just like, it's there. And it's kind of like smacking me in the face with all these references. So I was just like, ooh.
Yeah, maybe that's why they didn't release all the episodes at once. They put in so many little treasure hunts in there.
Yeah.
Let's give people a week to sort of go through it, find all the little things. And I get that has become like a side game. And perhaps that sometimes takes more importance than the narrative.
Yeah, because the designers, what I understand is that the designers actually pitch it to the writers, hey, wouldn't this be cool if you could use these ideas? And then they get approved by the writers and then Kevin Feige, obviously. So it's a really interesting, Marvel, as we've come to find out with Daredevil Born Again, Marvel TV shows are not built like everybody else's TV shows, right? They don't have showrunners. They just kind of have executives that do what they want, and then if needed, reshoot, right? If it's not working. Right. So I think that is tricky with a show about time travel. And I think in the first season, I saw a lot of the little things fall through the cracks because it's just kind of rule of cool, especially since it's Loki and it's Tom Hiddleston and we're kind of just riding on him, and Owen Wilson's chemistry, basically. They're carrying the show on their backs. And I totally see what you were saying about Mobius. And it's just wait a minute, Mobius, really? Because everybody has those weird little names now, right?
Yeah.
I was just kind of picking up on all the little things. I was like, I don't think Kang was very, he was a little too on the nose.
Yeah. Yeah.
With some of their names, right? Because he handpicked these people is essentially what he said and, erased their memories and things. So it's is that even your name, or is he just playing a game with you at this point?
Yeah, maybe that wasn't his name before, but then when Kang got fed up of managing the center of the universe, he just said, I'm going to leave little hints for everybody. I'll call that one Mobius, see if they pick up on that. And he's been waiting for somebody to pick up the clues and come to the end of time and kill him.
Yeah, exactly.
And it finally worked.
I was like, his last name should have just been Strip at that point. Just
Yeah. So in the first season, they said something that was interesting, Loki and, obviously she's Loki too, but he's unique because he's sort of ever present in time. Some people
he's a god, an actual god. Yeah.
Right. And, so that makes me think what if it's sort of if you think of, it's an elementary particle, right? Loki is simply an elementary particle, and it's going wherever it needs to in order for it's just a utensil of time, right? So now when time is being messed with, he is being sent as an agent of time itself to go fix these things. So time itself, if it had a personality, is scrambling to fix it, and one of its fingers is the character of Loki, and it's putting it here and here and here. So I think we're going to find out somehow that he is elemental to time or the existence itself or something.
I like that theory a lot, especially since they said they'd never seen anyone do that time slip.
Right.
I like that. Mobius says it looks like you're being born and dying at the same time, right? So death and rebirth, that circle, that Ouroboros, right?
Yeah.
And it's Loki, the god of mischief, and he's seen civilizations come and go, and but he's lost his purpose, I guess, in season 1. That's what we kind of established. So maybe that has something to do with it too. Yeah,
that's funny. He's an agent of mischief, an agent of chaos. Another way to interpret that would be, what creates life? Happy accidents in DNA getting together, or this chemical and this chemical finding themselves on a surface of a rock that allows them to take structure and form and create the first cell. So it's that kind of randomness and variability that gives life to existence itself. So that's, I guess, the purpose he's serving. His job was to go mess about. And maybe that's been time fighting back against Kang this whole time.
Yeah, I think so.
That's why he's been trying to restrain him, because that's the one thing that's sort of that the last hero that time has to fight for her.
Yeah, it's ooh, we used the whole roster. Who's left?
Yeah.
He's been sitting on the bench for a millennia here.
Puny God. You're up.
I was very interested that they didn't kind of turn away from, you know, Kang with the whole Jonathan Majors thing. They're just like, no, we're just gonna stick it through. Don't worry about it. We'll just we'll use Renfield or whatever judge is missing. That's played by the lovely Samantha Ngathu Raw. I love her, by the way. If you've never seen a show, what is that show with Kiefer Sutherland? He's looking for the boy. It's about a red string of fate. It's a really good TV show. It'll come to me by the end of the show. But yeah, that was where I first met her. And then she was also in like a remake of like a spy show with Boris Kojo. And she like all her shows get canceled. So it's really good to see her in a project that's thriving, making that MCU money, you know?
Now she looks very familiar, but I can't remember where else I've seen her.
Yeah, she was big in like the mid to late 2000s and like early 2010s. She was like everywhere, but none of her stuff stuck in America. So
gotcha.
But yeah, I was like, oh, that's so nice to see. But like they had a really great cast actually. I love all these people. I like Kathy Dickey as General Dox. That's Liza Aaron for Game of Thrones, baby. We got Liz Carr as Judge Gamble. We got Jack Cunningham Nuttall at the end of the episode in the end credit scene. So nice. So nice.
And like she plays just equally as creepy a character in this show as she did in Game of Thrones.
Yes. I mean, they literally like they were in that big like war room, I guess. And she's like having that moment with that guy, and then like I think it was like B-15 looks over and she's like, "What the hell's going on over there?"
Yeah,
is that her son? Is that just
definitely?
Her? Is she pigeonholed?
I definitely got Homelander and his boss vibes.
Oh God! Yes.
Definitely got some of that. Some weird Oedipal complex kind of thing going on. I don't know. It was really, really uncomfortable. But I guess that's what she's supposed to do. But I've heard like a bunch of stories online of saying that some people think she's an older variant of Sylvie.
You know, I was thinking that just because of the facial structure, you know,
really?
Of the two actresses, yeah. But that's just me, like, theory crafting. And I'm like, would they do that?
Didn't occur to me at all initially, but then when I heard somewhere that she brings up the end of time before Loki ever tells her. But by the same token, I got to imagine that once Loki made it down to the end of time in that little barn or whatever it was, I'm sure the TVA was alerted and they knew something was happening at the end of time. So that's probably why she said it. I don't know how credible I find that theory.
I feel like the TVA was like I thought in the first season that it was a family run kind of thing here, but they are being held together literally by duct tape. Yeah. Duct tape, man's greatest invention. The whole suit's peeling away, but that duct tape, baby, it was there.
Yes, it indeed. Was there. That will save your life. Let's see.
Can we get an F in the chat for the poor mail cart guy? Like,
what happened to the mail cart guy?
Loki crashed it. He said he's going to be all right.
The truck. When you said mail cart, I just saw an intern rolling a cart down an office way. But yeah, no, the cart. Yeah. He's going to have to cover those bills. For as long as the TVA exists.
Exactly. So that's what made me think of Fifth Element, right? It's like that scene where Lilu jumps on the taxi and that's how we meet Corbin. Yeah, I was just like, oh my God, that's such a cute little reference.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so they're sending General Dox and X5 are sending variants after Sylvie because they need to stop her from killing Kang. And then we also find out that Renslayer was working with Kang for a long time.
Well, working for him, but I don't think she's duplicitous in this. I think he's just obsessed with her. And she's a secret Kang variant, because, you know, if Loki can fall for himself, I'm sure Kang has fallen for himself.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I think that's why he says she's a Marvel and all these things. She's like the unaware variant. That's the vibes that I was getting.
Oh, I love that
and
idea.
And that's why she's
much.
in the sacred timeline, unaccounted for, all that.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a cool idea.
Oh, it's either that or it's his mom. I don't know. One of the two.
One weird mother-son couple.
It's Marvel, though. Well, at least they have parents in the Marvel universe.
Oh, Jesus, Lou.
At least there's some parental figures still living.
Yeah. So they finally at this point they're like end up down in the basement to meet Ouroboros. And that was such a great little scene because like you get him going back in time and meeting Ouroboros, and then like
his memories forming in real time, giving butterfly effect.
Communicating with the future just through doing something, and it happens. It was really, really a cool scene when they created the extracting machine. He's like,
yeah.
Wait a second, you know what? I do have an extracting machine. Thousands of years ago, somebody showed up here and had me create one, and it's been here ever since.
It looked dusty, but that's not my business.
Yeah. Really, really cool. But what a ridiculous idea. We're gonna kill you and then hopefully be able to catch the one strand and pull it out before it goes into the recycler.
Desperate times call for desperate situations, measures. Yeah.
And you could tell even Mobius when he goes out there, he's ready to die. He gets the gravity of the situation.
Yeah. I thought that was so cool at the end, how she shows up, pushes him, and he saves his bestie. That was so cute.
That's why you love Mobius, But yeah, really looked like he was about to go, and poor Ouroboros is like, buddy, I can't hold the door any longer. Another Game of Thrones.
One of the saddest references, actually.
Yeah, my word. I wish I never knew what that stood for. I could have been so happy.
George R.R. Martin is a monster. Mm-hmm. He's a monster.
Mm-hmm. And we all thought it was so cute for years. Oh, Hodor. And then we come to find out, my God, we've been celebrating the saddest moment. Yeah. But, so they do finally prune him. They're able to get him back. And that's where this episode. But one thing that I thought was interesting, when he does come and visit the war room, he visits two versions of it, right?
Yep.
In two different points in time. And in one point,
one had the timekeeper's head on it.
And the mural on the back still had the timekeeper, but then one, they said, what are we putting up appearances for? And it was the actual face of the Kangs.
Yeah.
But then I thought it was weird that it was just a facade and that he just tore the wall down. And
that's Kang's. That's Kang's arrogance.
Okay.
He's like, I'll be back. I'll claim my rightful seat. I'm just gonna wallpaper over this real quick.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah. I was like, why would it just be was it like a newly invented thing? Something went wrong and he just wiped everybody's memory, put up a wall and said,
yep, that's the vibes I got.
Yeah.
I feel like he's done it a couple of times at this point.
Yeah. So. Yeah. You are the fifth iteration, Mr. Anderson.
Oh yeah, this definitely gives Matrix vibes because they even have the ringing phone by the elevator, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where that pivotal moment happens, and it looks like it was kind of. I was like, I see you. I get references. I watch a ton of movies. I get the
references. Where did this one? Oh yeah, so it literally. Oh,
the end credit scene.
Yeah, so it ends, they get Loki back and whatnot, and then I'm like, man, it's literally half the line moving across for the timeline of the episode. There's half the episode. What's happening? There's got to be a secret scene. So you forward a little bit, and then she ends up in
1982, Broxton, Oklahoma, which is important to comic book fans.
How come?
So back in the day, Thor got killed and he got reborn and he had to find a new place to seed Asgard, and he chose Broxton, Oklahoma. And so that's like a floating city, and he had to pay for the land, and they got into a whole thing with Roxton oil. As far as Thor from that era it's interesting. I can give him that. But that whole era of Thor is really weird. But 1982, this is a joke between my friends and myself, right? Because we as millennials, there's a lot of new things that came out. So she lands in 1982. It says branch timeline, but 1982 in McDonald's, and he says new chicken nuggets. I used to always say, I don't want to date a guy who was born before there were chicken nuggets. That is the true millennial line. If you were born before chicken nuggets in 1980 or 81, you are not a millennial. You are Gen X.
All right. So Nuggets came out in 1981.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So if you were born before Nuggets, you're
old. You're old as dust. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I missed it by a year.
No, definitely.
I missed it by a year.
Or like that one, like they said. So there's like Xennial with an X and then there's Xennial with a Z. So you might be a Xennial, where it's like that borderline.
No. When
I hate generational names. Honestly, they're so stupid. Especially because of generations to me are supposed to be like 25 years, but like it's not like that. That's a clean, smooth break for me. Like in my mind, that's what I always thought a generation was. And then you start digging into it. It's just whatever sociologists at the time feel like saying, or anthropologists.
I feel like millennials.
We have a defined time because literally we had an analog childhood and a digital adulthood. Like that is one of the most defined generations.
Right. That's what I was going to say. It's like people who just started coming into their own when the internet started coming.
Yeah.
So just at the tail end of that would be millennials. Yeah. And I think Gen Xers would be people who spent a significant amount of their life. Like in your partying days, if there's not videos of you everywhere, then you're a Gen Xer. Yeah. Right, if your partying days are not cataloged and archived.
Well, millennials aren't either. We respect our privacy. Like, we believe in digital footprints. That's Gen Z that's just, and Gen Alpha that are just, they don't believe in keeping secrets on the internet, like, at all. Oh, I don't wash my legs in the shower. All right, you can kept that to yourself. But yeah, I thought that was really funny because he definitely put the he definitely said nude. I was like, see, little details. Now I need Loki season 2 stuff merch at McDonald's.
I will say they captured everything I remembered about the 80s in that
McDonald's. Yeah, the orange suits, everything. Although because I think that's the 70s uniform, but it's rural Oklahoma, so they're probably a little behind the times, and that might have been a franchise and not a corporate where they don't really force you to keep up to date, just as long as you're not outrageously out of date.
I don't know. It was just, to me, it was something about the color palette or what the ashtray, but just to me, it was just like the look in people's eyes,
the hopefulness.
Yes.
There was actually people in the lobby, like eating, like it was a thing. People don't do that anymore.
Everybody was just happy. He was happy to tell you, we got this burger. The world just seemed okay.
Well, because he probably could feed his family on a McDonald's salary. That's why he was happy. Yeah. No tea, no shade.
No, but tremendous amounts of shade. Yeah. But like,
I love the color that they used on that for that particular scene. It was just like, well, and also it's Oklahoma, right? So it's like implications of wide open space, clean air. You can actually see the night, the sky at night and things like it's all like that. Now listen, I'm not gonna ever shade Marvel for their directorial choices and like their directors of photography. Everything is always very beautiful with Marvel. That scene is no exception. Like, it literally set the mood from where it opened. Like, you see it, and she's in that big grass field, and she's got that hopeful look, and she ends with, I want to try everything. And I'm just like, she doesn't even want to kill Kate, babe. She's trying to live her best life. Okay? She's going to try the whole McDonald's menu. Getting that first Big Mac is a game changer. Trust me, I believe it.
And like, back in the day, you had like their old school fries that were cooked in beef fat. And the nuggets were better back then too.
Oh yeah, it was a better cut of meat.
Spongy. They weren't like dense
rocks.
And like man.
Deep fried rocks.
Yeah, the nuggets today, the kids don't even know. Kids think they love McDonald's nuggets. They have no idea how good they used to be.
No, give me Tyson chicken nuggets out of the freezer any day over McDonald's nuggets.
Yeah, it's not the same as it was. That used to be
Oh no, trust me, getting like a happy listen. Like I said, getting that Happy Meal, that was like it's a big meme on the internet, right? You got your McDonald's money, right?
Yeah.
So,
man.
I thought that was really interesting that they were able to capture that. And so I was definitely like trying to look for like the McDonald's collab.
Yeah. Oh, I got like a couple of months ago, I didn't even know Loki season 2 was coming, and I got
they had posters and stuff. Yeah.
The sweet and sour sauce had Loki logos all over it. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
I'm trying to track down the posters because they have like all these time variant like authority like work posters, like, you know, a 17-minute lunch, and like all the little posters in the background that you see in this episode, they were all like allegedly available somewhere. So I'm just trying to track them down.
So they were up in McDonald's, or
I don't think they were in McDonald's. I think they were just out.
That would have been really cool if they changed
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, why would they do that if there's no collab?
Ooh, that's Well,
that's
really cool.
I think I do know why, because I think that they did have Marvel the Marvels, because like that was supposed to be pushed back. Then they just said they're gonna go ahead and release it in November. So I think that might have been like their fiduciary obligation to include something to reference McDonald's in that, maybe.
I always like a good McDonald's product placement. Like, you remember there was this old movie with Sinbad called The House Guest?
Yeah, I love that movie.
It's such a good movie. It's such a good movie. It's a simple, goofy little movie from when I was a little kid. I absolutely love that movie. But the way they highlight damn Big Mac in that movie.
Babes, they don't make product placement like that no more. Like the 80s and 90s product placement. Like, Demolition Man, Taco Bell, the only restaurant to survive the fat. Listen, they don't do it like that anymore.
No. I miss those days. So it's kind of nice to see a throwback. I hope McDonald's gets featured a lot more. I hope we get to see like how good their food used to be. I hope they really do highlight that. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm glad you chose this one. This is pushing me out of my comfort zone, and it's gonna give me a little appreciation for Marvel. Not too much though, but just a little bit.
Not the right time for that.
This is kind of not even like what I was expecting it to be. It's a lot better than what I was expecting. Like, I'm not a huge Tom Hiddleston fan. Like, I think it has to do. I was around when he was dating Taylor Swift. Like, I was on Tumblr, and I got burnt out on him.
Yeah, people were like really gaga over him for like a while.
Yeah.
Same
thing with Benedict Cumberbatch. I was just like, okay, I don't get it, but if you like it, I love it for you.
Yeah, hey.
But no, he's a pretty great actor.
He's a really good actor.
Yeah. Like, when he sees Sylvia, it almost looks like he's gonna cry. Like, he has got that tear in his eye. And I don't know if it's CGI or not, but if it's not, bravo.
Yeah. But like that leads to the question, where the hell is that happening? Because that's not part of whatever timeline we're seeing.
I guess this is what we're going to be exploring, the branch timelines. Like, is she really going to go kill Kang, or is she just trying to live her best life? Or is that where Kang is? Is that where he's hiding, in a branch timeline somewhere?
Yeah, where are all the Kangs at this point? They're probably just watching, going, oh, I'm going to attack him from there. Oh, they're just watching them having fun. He's going to descend at some point.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. Like I said, they never really resolved it. Like, they said they were going to fire Jonathan Majors, and they didn't, because it's just been that back and forth thing of, is he guilty? Is he innocent? No,
but like,
was
recently
proven wrong, but then those two girls.
Right. I don't know. Some video came out recently that
that PR image of him breaking up a fight with those two middle schoolers or whatever. Is that what you're talking about?
So there's no relevant.
Such forced PR.
Oh, is it? I didn't even bother looking at what it was. I just saw, video came out that proves it. I was like, oh.
Oh, no. I didn't know there was a video that proved he was innocent. I know that his PR team is still working on overtime. So that, to me, tells me that they feel like he's still guilty in the the court of public opinion. And so, Disney can't be messing around like that right now, because they are at an all-time low, and they're doing too many shenanigans that people are pissed about. So,
yeah. And now they're hearing this. I'm hearing this rumor that they're saying they're going to reboot everything.
I wouldn't doubt it. They want they can't capture the magic that was like phases 1 through 4. Like, all our favorite actors have been phased out, and like, no tea, no shade. Like, the fake wokeness of like all their other like female specifically driven stuff, and their actors of color outside of Black Panther franchise, it's just all like, it's a flop. Yeah. It feels forced. It doesn't feel like you guys actually believed in it. And I think their diversity initiative, their diversity and equity initiative person even said, yeah, we were just kind of phoning it in. So I think it is time to reboot it. Like, I hate reboots, but I think MCU needs it, because at this point, I don't care about anybody. I'm being honest.
But also, I think like the world was different when the first Avengers movie came out. And it's so funny. We're sitting here talking about how different the 80s were. I'm really surprised right now when I think back on when the first Avengers came out, how different the world was. We always think about the world in a post and pre 9/11 situation.
Yeah.
But like, whatever the hell has been happening these past 10 years we can't even put a name to it. It just seems like somebody messed with our timeline. That's what has happened.
Oh yeah, it's called the government. The world's governments messed with our timeline. No, like, seriously, when you think about it, like, I just think about like how good it was for the Earth at the beginning of the pandemic when everybody had to stay in. You were seeing dolphins, you were seeing whales, the sky cleared, the ozone. Like, I'm just saying, like, if we all drove electric vehicles.
You know, that's so funny. Wasn't there a scene in Marvel after like half the world got blipped? They're like, whales are in the bay of whatever again. Yeah. Man,
it's true.
We were just experiencing that. They're like, whales have been visiting around New York recently. Oh, yeah. Man, I do miss the pandemic a little bit.
Listen, if they giving out PP, look, if we go into another one, I ain't missing out on that PPP money. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now.
Yeah, and that's what I think. What Sylvie's feeling in this moment, she knows the end is coming, but she's like, yeah, before the end gets here, I'm gonna have myself a good time. So I
want
be
that
like
for her
everybody
so
else.
bad.
Yeah, she deserves to be like everybody else. She's been fighting her whole life.
Exactly.
So hopefully we get to see that this season. I'm super excited about it. I started watching the next episode, and it's really good. It's really good.
Okay,
I get something out of it that I've been waiting for this whole season. Anyway, we'll get to it. The next episode is pretty good.
All right, I can't wait to watch it then.
But till then, looking forward to this next episode. I like where this is heading off, and episode 2 kicks it up a notch. So I'm excited to talk about that next time. But in the meantime, if anybody would like to get in touch with me, ask me any questions or talk about any theories, they can reach me at mozzmanzor@gmail.com or find me on Facebook under Mozz Manzor. That's MOZZMANZOOR. And where can they find you, Lilith?
Oh, I'll let them know where they can find the podcast. If you're on X, formerly known as Twitter, at FSA Podcast. If you want to email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com. Check out our website. Dang it. What is it? I'm sorry. I'm a little rusty now.
FSA Podcast.
No. I got it. Hold on. Here it comes. Well, you can give us a call at 614-382-2727. That's 614-38-CAPES. And then it's twospace.io, Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. I swear, I had it memorized and we took a break. So. And then as for me, if you want to follow me, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Threads or Instagram at your favorite internet granny. That's Fave Internet Granny, GRANNIE.
Right on. All right, you filthy land lovers. Thank you for joining us once again as we bound down the bounding main of streaming content. Join us again next week as we sail once again full stream ahead. Yarg.